So my first ever pair of Adidas Adios Pro 3s have gotten to a point where I definitely need to start retiring them. This is what's worked with the shoe. This is what's not been good with the shoe. And yeah, we're just going to get right into it. Here we go. So, before we get into the video, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're already subscribed, watching the content. Thanks so much. I love you guys a lot. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and Strava for all sorts of other updates and things like that. So, without further ado, let's begin. Specs of the shoes, somewhere up here where they're visible. And yeah, I guess we're going to go over immediately our, straw that breaks the camel's back with this particular pair of shoes. Not with the Adios Pro 3 overall, because, to be clear, we'll get into that thought in a second here. This is what the bottoms of the shoes look like at just under 350 plus miles. I think according to my Strava, I might have like 347, 48. I don't think knocking those last 2 miles out on a treadmill is going to make any sort of additional foam damage. And yeah, I just figured this was probably the right time to retire them based on the previous video I had made on this, where there was a lot of thoughts of, holy crap, why are you still running with these? Like, what are they rated for? And I have answers for you, so we'll get there. So yeah, obviously, as you can see from my right foot, this is one of the straws that broke the camel's back. Like, you can basically see the energy rod, again, basically exposed right about there on the anterior side of the shoe. And this is causing me issues that I had in about 2019 with the Vaporfly Next% pair that I had, where when the carbon plate was exposed in the shoe and it would slap the ground and I was slapping the plate, my anterior side of my ankle, I guess like towards the fibula side, would start like feeling extremely painful, like I broke it because of the impact forces of a piece of plastic or carbon, if you want to say, smacking the ground continuously and causing that bone to basically be like the next line of defense to my knee and my hip, and to my brain, if you want to say, whatever. So, number one, that's causing a lot of issues. Number two, this is happening also in my new pair of Adios Pro 3s, is that the heel is becoming increasingly uncomfortable in terms of this central piece right here, which is starting to dig into my heel, and it actually did in fact make a blister, which is sort of going away at this time. I guess I can show you guys, sort of. Can I? Can you guys see my blister there? I don't know if you can. It's over there somewhere. It's dried up now, but it was way worse in Colorado Springs, where everything is like dry and it's mountains. So that kind of friction and rubbing from the other pair of shoes caused a lot of issues at the time, and I noticed it more and more when I was running in this pair on like a treadmill while I was using my regular socks and experimenting with a brand new pair of socks I wanted to try for race days. So that was not good. That's just something, of a problem that was not anticipated out of this pair of race day shoes. But I did like the covers, again, on either side of the shoe. I just wish there was probably a little more plush in this central piece right there. That's kind of, this pays homage in terms of the upper to what was going on with the Boston 11s, where it was like the streamlined, tight shoe that would have a more volatile upper as a result, because the shoe was just so fast and it was designed to like lock you in and have you just storm whatever miles you wanted to. And I will say, when I used this during the March Madness 13-mile race in Cary, Illinois, despite all the hills and whatnot, I still managed to put on a half marathon time that I was proud of at the time. It was a bit slower than my PR. I think I was like down maybe 8 minutes from my existing PR, which was done on a flat course when I was in better shape versus in the winter on hills. So it kind of tells you how much more I've put in with this shoe to get closer to that time on a harder course. So hats off to Adidas for the shoe as it kind of stands as it is, right? Now, what the shoe is rated for astounds me, right? Also, you can also see I wore the Continental rubber at the top. I was giving the Continental rubber a huge plus as being like a really tough, durable foam on the Boston series shoes and on the Adios Pro 3, but clearly the rating for this shoe compared to what kind of rubber it has don't seem to match up exactly. This is why. My interpretation of how long the Continental rubber was going to last was about 250 to 300 miles. It looks like I pushed the edge a little bit more because I thought, screw it, let's see how far we can destroy this shoe and keep running in it. 350 is like a hard stop at this time, right? But, believe it or not, this shoe is only rated for 100 miles, which is crazy. That's the one big con of this race shoe and some other race day shoes that I've heard of in the past. Like, the shoe at 100 miles, if you watch my previous video, was in excellent condition. Like, if the argument there is that this Light Strike Pro foam loses its magic after 100 miles, like, then, you know, what the heck? Like, what am I going to use the shoe for after 100 miles if I can't race in it? I guess the answer then is you train in it. But a race day shoe that only lasts 100 miles, like, give me a break. I'm going to be training in the race day shoe even if it has under 100 miles because it doesn't have a sweet spot until I break it in, which is usually, in like the case of the Vaporfly Next% 1s and 2s, like 30 to 40 miles in. So if the ratings for those shoes are 100 miles, that means you're telling me that I only have 60 miles to use the shoe before I gotta go spend another $250 to $300 for the shoe. That's crazy, right? That's crazy talk to me. But it's probably true in terms of the foam composites and all of the technology associated with them. Not that I endorse you buying a brand new pair of race day shoes every month. I'm sure whatever company you like prescribe to, they would love you to buy a new shoe every week. Like, this is just crazy talk that I can only run this thing for 100 miles and then hang it up, right? I did end up doing like 2 or 3 races in this shoe even after 100 plus miles, and I thought I did pretty much okay. But yeah, that's an interesting thought that 100 miles is like where you hard stop the shoe and you just hang it up and buy a new one. So anyways, that's a strange, weird, and serious con if true. But yeah, overall my experience with the shoe was that I wanted this to be a replacement to the Nike series of shoes that I've been running in that I've lost faith in because of the quality of some of the Vaporfly Next% models that came out. The Alphafly, I think it was 2s that came out that were an absolute like dog shit shoe in my opinion, that others have said you size up and the problem's resolved. Like, come on. You should sell me something that's true to size, not tell me to buy a shoe that's bigger when your sizes have been consistent for years across, right? If you're Hoka, I understand. You've got a scaling issue with your product because you're just Hoka. That's just what you do. So Decker Outdoors knows that they're never going to fix that issue, and they're just going to make you exchange product until you get it right. Whatever. Not a dig on them, just me being funny. Anyways, but with Adidas, again, the sizing is about where I need it to be. It was a shoe that surprised me very early on with the return and the, I guess I want to say like the turnover from the shoe of how light and how streamlined it felt. Almost reminded me of like the Boston 11, but it took the good pieces of the Boston 11 and added some extra pizzazz, including, you know, just the overall ride and the speed that I was looking for from a daily race day shoe. And now if I had to rate it from all the daily racers I had, it's not the fastest one I've had. It's the most consistent one I think I've had, but it's also one of the more enjoyable ones. So in a way, this is gonna sound crazy to say because, again, my fitness in 2019 to 2021 was a different animal than it is now. Like, I almost felt slower but more comfortable in the Adios Pro 3 than I did in like the Vaporfly Next% 1, 2, and even the Alphafly when I had it from Nike. So this has been the only other race day shoe outside of the Nike brand that I've used for race day, to my knowledge, since I've started caring about daily trainers and like different brands of shoes. So what I traded for speed, I got a little bit more comfort and something that was highly reliable on my race day schedules. And if I had to buy the shoe again, I would. I already did. I have another pair that I'm saving for race days because I have a highly reliable daily trainer in the Puma DB8 Nitro 2 and 3. Mostly the 3 in this case. But overall, it's a really good shoe. I like the Adidas brand for what kind of running shoe product it puts out, and I'm going to test out more of it as it goes along. So yeah, this was a great buy. I enjoyed this shoe, and yeah, it's time to put this specific pair to rest because you can tell they're pretty beat up. My ankles are starting to hurt while I'm running in them. They're a little bit painful on my knees as well, just because, again, the support that the shoe otherwise would have had has the guard has ended for these shoes. The watch is over, as they like to say in that one crazy show about thrones and games that everyone's gonna be like, it's Game of Thrones, bro. Yeah, I know. Okay, so we're gonna end the video here. If you agree or disagree with the assessment, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, really great shoe. Had a great time with it. Thanks to you guys for recommending it as a race day choice and getting me kind of spun up with Adidas, because this was just a lot of fun overall. So I think we're going to leave the video here. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.